Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome to another show on Sports, Music, and Live podcast. This time I'm going to bring you a show about Daniel Dubois' fight of the weekend. Now, normally, for those who listen, I normally go round by round, but I had the absolute joy to go there and watch it and watch my first ever world title fight. And what better than a unification world title fight? So yeah, I was actually there thanks to a good friend of mine who got us Club Wembley seats, and we got to sit there and watch it. And I got to experience the first time what it's like to watch boxing live. I must admit, I found it very strange to adapt to it. We had a fairly decent view, and it was a lovely venue, Wembley. There's some nice bars on the outsides and that, and they got a lot, obviously what you expect. They got all the history in there. And like I say, we had great views, although we couldn't tell if the punches were actually hitting from where we were sitting. So that's why I'm not going to go round by round like I normally do, because I didn't do notes on the fight. I was watching it and observing and taking all the atmosphere in. And I tell you something, all credit to them Ukrainian fans that went to see their boy Usyk fight. Very passionate fans all the way through. Even on the undercard, you had a couple of Ukrainian chaps on there, and they were getting behind them too. So let's talk about the undercard, since I just mentioned it. Now, it wasn't a great undercard from my point of view. The fights wasn't great on there. Being at a Wembley Arena, I would have thought there would have been some bigger fights on there. But yeah, it wasn't. I mean, even from a distance, it wasn't great away. And speaking to friends and family over messages, even they said that the undercard wasn't that great, which is a shame, because just lately Frank Warren has put on some real cracking shows. So those who've watched podcasts that I've done will know that I've bigged up how good Frank's shows have been. So I was a bit disappointed with that. If I'm honest with you. Do you know what surprised me too? That it didn't fill up right until the Daniel Dubois fight. So a lot of them was there, obviously, to see Usyk and Daniel Dubois. And for those who thought Usyk was going to win, I'm very sorry, but I'm going to have to strongly disagree with you. Now, he did have that puncher's chance. And that's the thing with Daniel Dubois. He's got power in both hands, and we've seen that over the years. But he come up against a very, very good fighter in Usyk. He's won me over. I must admit, he has won me over. I don't know if I've mentioned it on podcasts before. I think there's been a couple of fights where I think Usyk's been lucky to win, especially against Derek Chisora. He got bashed up for 7 rounds, and then he did go on to win them last rounds. But I think Derek Chisora won them 7 rounds and therefore beat him. But when you got the big money AJ fight sitting there, who's going to win the boxing politics, as we all know it? Anyway, and I felt AJ beat Usyk in the second fight, and I say that because I felt Usyk was punching his arms a lot. But Usyk is, for me, the most cleverest boxer out there, and Canelo, because what they do is in them rounds they're losing, they are working out the angles and where they can and pick you off or land their punches or go for the finishing shot. And they are the most intelligent fighters out there. And Terence Crawford too, I have to give a shout out while I'm on here about that. But for now, let's talk about Usyk. And he's the smartest out there. And he did beat Fury twice. I say convincingly, not so much very convincingly. I think Fury boxed the wrong fight in against Usyk in the second fight, but the first fight was very close. It's only that near a knockout, that Usyk done in the ninth round in the first fight. I think is what nicked it for Usyk in that first fight, which was a very, very close fight. I disagree with a lot of people when they said that Fury got schooled in that fight. He didn't. I'm telling you now, he pissed around for the first few rounds, but that could have lost it. But you know, he was well in that fight, and I think Usyk just nicked the first fight. But anyway, I'm going off track there. So for me, Usyk is a very clever fighter, and he's won me over even more. And it was nice to see when he was fighting Dubois. And Daniel Dubois did bring it to him. He come in there very more confident than what he was the first time he fought him. And let's not forget, Daniel Dubois had a serious eye injury, and his confidence was very low. Before the turning point was Gerard Miller. And despite what people say, yes, he's a two-time world champion, but that world title wasn't handed to him. That was vacated. Yes, he didn't beat Usyk for it, but he still won that world title. So, anyone who's a boxing fan or anyone out there's doing it, and you get that opportunity to fight for that world title, you tell me you're going to turn it down? It doesn't matter the circumstances. He won that world title when he won it very convincingly when he knocked out AJ. I did think AJ was going to win that fight, but he caught AJ cold, and AJ showed that he had a heart in that fight too, and that's another fight that's very underestimated by all these so-called fans, mate. Go back and watch AJ's record compared to the other heavyweights, because I tell you something now, AJ done them all, apart from Usyk. And obviously Andy Reese, but he obviously got that one wrong and he avenged it. Anyway, let's get back to Daniel Dubois. So he was going in there with confidence, he looked game for it, and he had more confidence. See, from where we were sitting, Daniel Dubois looks like he was landing a lot more. But when the replays come up, I haven't had the chance. I've only seen the highlights of the fights, so I haven't really had a great chance to see it. But Daniel Dubois did land a lot more than what was credited for, from what I was about to say. Because when they showed it on the big screens at Wembley, it was just showing that that Usyk, he was slipping all his punches. That wasn't the case, because I've seen a bit of the highlights, and Daniel Dubois landed a lot more than what he was credited for. But again, Usyk was slipping a lot more, and he was using the outside of the ring very well. He was on his toes, he was working him out, and he was using the outside of the ring very well. And then I said to my mate Robbie, he's moved in closer, he's going for the finish now, and that was the 5th round. I didn't expect him to do him in that round, to be honest with you. I thought he's moving in close, he's going to get up close, he's going to start getting the big shots off. And unfortunately, I'm going to say, Daniel Dubois looked like he quit again. He looked like he could have gone on, but in hindsight, he's probably thought about, I'm going to get bashed up here. I live to fight another day. And Usyk with another great, clever performance, and there was levels in boxing, and I'm afraid Daniel Dubois wasn't on that level. But listen, he got in there and he done it, and you got to give the guy credit for his heart, whether he's quit or not, what everyone ever says. He's still getting in there and doing it. So what's that say about the guy? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If he is having them demons in his head, he's still getting in there and doing it, and he'd come through it. And when he bashed Gerald Miller up, when he done Gerald Miller that time, he was one of the most overrated fighters, I must say, ever in that division. So all credit to Daniel Dubois for sticking in there and getting in there and still doing it. For me personally, if he retires, I don't see anything wrong with that. Listen, he's earned near 100 million in the last 2 fights he's had, or close to 100 million. You know what I mean? He's a multi-millionaire. Yeah, he's a 2-time world champion. Yeah, so if he retires, then so what? He could hang around, wait till Usyk vacates all the belts and retires, and go and pick him up. But who's coming up behind him from the British level? Moses Vitoma, and I think he's looking like the one to take over the world heavyweight scene. All but he comes through it with the Dylan White fight, which I think he will, because his boxing ability is very good and he brings power. So he's the next up and coming heavyweight for me, who at the moment's looking like he's going to take over. I'm not just saying that because I'm English and patriotic, but that's my view on it at the moment. I don't see anyone else. So, just Daniel Dubois needs to stick around for it. You know what I mean? And if he hangs his gloves up, then so be it. If he carries on, so be it. The choice is his. But what I'm trying to say here, and like Dave Allen said on IFL, he doesn't need it anymore. He's achieved everything he needs to achieve in boxing. He's just sold out Wembley. He's been in a unification fight for all the belts. He's the 2-time world champion. Whether he won the week of WBA or how he won the IBF, he's still a 2-time heavyweight world champion. and he's made loads of money. So does he really need to do it? You know what I mean? So that's my views on that, and my little rant there. So, so thank you for listening to another show again on the Sports Music and Life podcast. Been still loving doing this and bringing the shows. So please like and subscribe, ring the bell, give us the thumbs up, and give us your views on it. Please feel free to leave a comment and give your views on what you thought about the fight and where you think Daniel Dubois should go. And whether he should hang around so please feel free to leave a comment. Thank you for listening once again, and I will be bringing you another podcast very soon. Thank you. Bye.